Good morning. My name is Lorrie. Welcome to my channel. We are quilters. You are here for Blabfest today. We talk about things every Friday. Some things you've heard, some about, some are new topics today. I am trying to get my video in and recorded before my company gets up. And I have a new microphone. Hopefully this will improve the sound. It is nice and cool here. We had a storm, two storms roll through and lower the temperature. So the fans are actually off for the first time in a couple of weeks. Yes, I said a couple of weeks. It's been rather warm here. And it is blissfully quiet for the moment, except for a red-winged blackbird who's moved into the neighborhood and keeps chirping. But that's okay. It just drives Honey crazy. So let's get started with the 8 quick topics for today. So my first topic, block parade. I like doing this first. I did finally finish the August weather blocks for 2024. Here is the parade of the last 6 blocks. There are a lot of yellow. Yellow means high temperature of 70s, and the orange, high temperature of 80s. And as always, as I'm putting these together, there's always 1 or 2 that are my favorites. Here are my favorite 2 up close, and here are the other 4. I am so glad to have these finished. Now I can cut the fabric for the color that match the color sheets for September, because I have those all plotted out and colored. Now I just need to cut the fabric to get going on those. Oh, and I also, here's the sneak peek of the block, and I'm sure you've seen it. If you did the first part of the Study in Scarlet God's Eye block, you saw on the pattern page this picture. But here is a picture of the God's Eye block all finished. And we will work on that for the next 2 weeks on Wednesdays. So topic number 2 goes along with Study in Scarlet. A while back, I added an extra border, and I got the friendship stars at the top done, but I did not get the friendship blocks done. So I have been working on cutting the fabrics, and there are, well, it's 18 blocks, but each block is made up of 4 other blocks. So I cut all the pieces and have it ready to go so I can put them together and set them aside and do them as extra things. So here are my pieces and my colors. I relied a lot on that plaid from the friendship with Dr. Watson and Holmes, and I used a lot of teal because in the friendship stars at the top extra border, I used teal stars. So that was one of the things I almost got finished this week. Topic number 3. We pulled out the jewelry making stuff while the guys were fishing earlier this week. And when you start making jewelry, beads accumulate. So I have a lot of cases of beads. Some of it's jewelry I've taken apart, some of it's new jewelry, some of it's pieces that I bought at thrift stores and flea markets. And we just had a lot of fun. I updated a couple pair of earrings straight from the 80s. I paid $0.10 a piece for the earrings, still on the little cards, but they needed some updating. And Lisa wanted to make some keychains that she saw something similar and she wanted to make them to honor her parents for her sisters for Christmas presents. We had a great time pulling out the little parts and pieces, and I discovered all kinds of things that I had forgotten I even had. Topic number 4, behind the door. Last week was the lamest behind the door ever because it was just a hunk of green fabric. Well, I am going to make up for it this week, and there are many more things to see. So let's go to that video. Enjoy!
B8 for July 18th. Here it is. It says Smiles and Nine Patch. I'm not sure what a smile is. I don't remember. Let's check this out though. I do like Nine Patch and snowballs. So maybe that's what we were calling smiles in the Yahoo group. And I know there's not very many Nine Patches here, and I recognize all of these fabrics as mine. And I know that I pressed everything. I pressed them all open because for our exchanges, more people wanted them pressed open. And I've never had a problem with the pressed open Nine Patches. But I know there's not very many of them. So let's just set those aside. There's what, 6 of those? Yeah, there's 6 of those. And then there's this whole stack of smiles being snowball corners. And I saw, as I pulled them out of the bag, there were some stickers on some of them. Jelly beans. Now these ones have black corners and stars and flowers. I don't think there are any, too, that are like, oh, gummy bears. Those are so cute. But if you've ever seen a newborn hamster baby, you'll look at that in a whole different way. Just saying. One of those joys of being an elementary teacher. Apples. Cats. In hats. So there's lots of colors in there for the corners. There's only that one little set that had black. Oh, moons. Look at that. Oh, that is gorgeous fabric. Frogs. You know, I need to make a charity quilt for the Quilt Guild. They work with Rayola in West Branch, Michigan, and surrounding areas. I don't know how many counties, but they try to give quilts to kids that are in foster care. That's what Rayola does. So our Quilt Guild there works with them. And it is time for me to make another. And if I make a top, I can give it to them and they will quilt it. Assateague Lighthouse, Virginia. That's where the ponies are on the island, Assateague. Chickens. My sister likes to go camping at Assateague. Oh, that is beautiful. Look at those teapots. So cute. Yeah, as disappointing as last week's bin was with just the green fabric, this one is like, wow, look at all those snowballs. And I don't even care that those are not the same. See, when you do an exchange, sometimes things don't turn out the same size. And I'm okay with that. I will work with that and figure a way. Teddy bears and kitties and puppies. I am so glad that I am not doing my face in this video because it is so hot here as I am taping this that the sweat is dripping off my nose. I feel like I'm in a sauna. Oh, look at those ladybugs. This one's perfect for where I am right now. Feels like I'm in Florida, but I'm not. And we just had a thunderstorm roll through, so it's even more humid. Look at those. Oh, gorgeous. So cute. Oh, this one is beautiful. Look at those little mice. Oh, so cute. Mice doing all kinds of things. Kitties and puppies, stuffed animals, coral reef, Seaweed. Sylvester and Tweety. Oh, I see a label. Christy Johnson. Safari animals. Fish. And a scuba diver sneaking in there. Colored rocks under. It looks like they're underwater with the swirls. At least I think that's what that is. Kitties. Meow, meow, purr, purr. Christmas. Money. That changes everything, you know. Penny Clark, Norwood, New York. That name is very familiar. She did a lot of exchanges with us, too. Flip-flops. I must have had a good turnout, because these are the blocks that were left that I didn't exchange and send back out. And the way we did exchanges at that time, oh, here's one perfect for today. At that time, you would send your blocks, however many were stipulated in the directions, and then you would send a self-addressed stamped envelope, and I would switch them all out so you didn't get any of your own back, but you got a good sampling. Look at that cat. It's got roses in it. It took me a moment. Roses in its hair and roses around its neck, and it's in a star. I love those colors. Anyway, then I would switch them all out, and everybody would benefit. They would get back as many blocks as they had sent in. So these were ones that we must have done several weeks of this exchange. There's Norma. You saw some of Norma's house blocks a couple weeks ago. Her burger shack. Oh, look at that. Hearts, hearts, hearts. Turtles. More turtles. Somebody liked turtles and had turtle fabric. Ducks and feathers and flowers. Teddy bears going every which direction. Marion, potato chip fabric. Nuts. That is hilarious. Nuts fabric. Oh, nuts. Bugs. Cherries. Oh, this last set I see has black also, so I'll have to mix those up pretty well. And pretzels. And that is all for bin B8. Next week, I will find some other treasure to share with you, because I am good at stashing things and hiding them from myself, even at the cabin. So we will go exploring next week, maybe at the cabin, maybe in West Virginia. We could find something to look at. I hope you enjoyed looking at smiles and 9 patches.
Topic number 5, yard sale and thrift store finds. Treasure, if you will. So I did find several books, one of them being the magazine that was the month after the one we've been looking at. And it has part of that quilt that they did in sections. Now I only need to find one more magazine, and I'll have that whole pattern together. It has a lot of paper piecing though, so I don't know. And I found this red workbook. I found some cross-stitch books. Not that Dan will use those. He's not so much into those little mini patterns. He has several books that are like that. But I could use those for bookmarks, because a couple weeks ago, he bought some cross-stitch fabric, and the lady threw in some pre-finished bookmarks. And I think those will be really cute to give as gifts to Sadie and my sister. And I also bought the second book because it has alphabet letters and samplers. I really like samplers. As a teacher, I like samplers. So, some books. I bought this book to share with my sister. I'm working on reading it, and I will pass it on to her with a bag of M&Ms so that she has her own little extra chocolate. I also found some fabric, this cloud fabric. There's 2.5 yards of this cloud fabric. And there were some pieces that were very small, and they're going right into the scrap bin. These lovely pinks. I also found this baseball one, and I'll stuff that in the fussy cut it when I need it bin. And last but not least, and I still haven't pulled this out to photograph it, this box, $5 box of fabric. It came with this hoop with a crazy patch in it. And the lady said, "Oh, my mom never got around to making that quilt." And I felt very sad. And I said to her, "I'm so sorry about your mother." She said, oh, she's still alive. She just never got around to making that quilt. Okay, in this box, wait till I show you what's in it. It is a lot. Some good, some not so good, but a lot. That's another topic for another week. But it was a fantastic week for yard sailing. Topic number 6, thoughts and challenges. So this is where, if you have a good thought, and please don't tell me to get rid of my stuff, I'm horizontally challenged. I cannot let any space that is horizontal and clear cleaned off. I stack it up. And back here behind me is evidence of that. Here, let me show you a picture without me sitting in front of it. Yikes. There's a sewing machine in there, a treadle sewing machine. But I can't seem to let the rest of that desk uncovered. I always find stuff to stack on it. And the bookcase, it has stuff stacked on top of it. And this stand, it's okay that it has stuff stacked on top of it, but I stack more and more stuff on top of the stuff. If you have any good suggestion, and please don't say get rid of my stuff. If you have suggestions for maybe a cupboard, maybe another shelf, I don't know. Anyway, how do you keep from stacking stuff on horizontal surfaces? What's your best organizing tip for odd-shaped organizers? Let me know. I'd love to hear it. But don't say things that are mean and make me cry. Please, there's enough sadness in this world already. Topic number 7. Let's look at that magazine just a little bit more this week. Let's roll that video. Enjoy.
Here we are looking at Quilters Newsletter Magazine, another part from the September 2006 issue. Last week we looked at careers of quilters and other jobs that they do, and some kaleidoscope quilts plus some nature quilts. This week we are looking at some landscape quilts, and they did fusing strips together to make landscape quilts. And they did some freeform cutting, I see in the pictures, and some strip piecing, and a lot of freeform cutting, and using a foundation, and then layering and quilting. And it looks like they did machine quilting, following the contours of the fabric. And again, following the contours of the fabric. And it talks about how to finish and how to use things, making a landscape quilt. And then they rolled the bind. Oh, they didn't even roll the binding. They just used a very thick zigzag stitch around the edges. Does it say what's? Oh, these are 19 by 16, 19 by 15. So they're not terribly big landscape quilts, but landscape quilts nonetheless. This one, oh my goodness. This is about a quilt that she didn't quite get it made to go into the 1933 Chicago World's Fair. And oh wow, I don't even know where to start talking about this. In 2006, when this article was written, Alice Purviance was 100 years old. And she talks in the article about how she knew she wanted to win that $1,000 grand prize. That she was working all the time. She has no idea how she had time enough. There was like 5 people sharing an apartment and working and working and working. And it's called Gambler's Rest. It is 79 by 104. It was made in 1933. And these are all little applique pieces. The cards, and she did reuse some of the cards. She did put a label down here at the bottom. But she had to reuse some of the cards because it is obviously, 7 by 7, so it's, wait, that's only 49 cards. It's 56 cards. I'm sorry. I knew that in the article it said that there were some that were reused. And I think it says in the article that the face cards were the ones that some of them were repeated more than once. But she had a plan in mind, and that she finished it. It is absolutely fantastic with those little applique pieces. That is absolutely amazing. On their close-ups on this page. And there's her label. March 4th to June 3rd, 1933. So in less than a month, the whole thing was made. Absolutely amazing. It says the applique face cards had more than 70 pieces each, and that she put red fabric between the cloth layers for the pink cheeks so that they had some color to them. I don't know if you can see that detail, but there's a little bit of pink cheeks there. Absolutely amazing. Then another thing that this magazine had, and a lot of the older ones have this, like a bulletin board, where they had corrections, maybe a little pattern. I like this feature in this one. September in quilt history. In 1846, Elias Howe Jr. patented the sewing machine. Now, there were other sewing machines around, but he had the patent and it worked well. And it's an amazing machine, the way the thread gets picked up from a bobbin. A quick half square triangle tip. And they talk about fangles, which is a paper thing, and all kinds of little goodies here on a bulletin board type area. Very cool. But I'm going to flip back to that quilt because it is just absolutely amazing how that looks. It said in the article she worked in a shirt factory and made $14 for 40 hours of work in St. Louis. Absolutely amazing. I aspire to be this amazing.
Topic number 8, everyone's favorite, yay, viewer contributions. Let's take a look at some of the fantastic things that people have sent me this week. And remember, if you want to contribute, It doesn't have to be anything that we are making together. It can be other things. It can be partially finished things like a block. Please send it to my email at wearequilters@gmail.com. Let's take a look.
First up, we have a block or a quilt top by Anne. It was made using a pattern from American Patchwork magazine in 2025. She used mini charms instead of the 5-inch charms, so she has a nice wall-hanging size quilt. I love her peach border instead of a plain white or off-white border. It really sets off the colors in her blocks. Next up, we have a couple of blocks from Diana from the Study in Scarlet Quilt. Her tumbleweed block has fantastic greens, especially that swirly fabric that even adds to the pattern of the swirl. And here's another look at Diana's cathedral window block. Love those beautiful bright colors. Thank you, ladies, for sending your blocks in for us to look at and be inspired by. Beautiful work.
And this concludes our 8 quick topics for today. I hope you have enjoyed Blabfest. I hope you relaxed and had a nice cup of coffee or tea or whatever it is you're drinking this morning, or whenever you're watching this. Maybe it's not in the morning. I hope you have a fantastic, relaxing weekend, and I will see you back on Monday for extended herringbone. We only have 2 more weeks of herringbone, and these ones are not double, and I will be so, this is where I should confess, I will be so glad to be done with the herringbone because I'm tired of making herringbone stitches. Oh, I shouldn't tell you that. Anyway, they do look very different from the others once they are all decorated and blinged up. So I hope you will join me on Monday for one of the last 2 episodes of Herringbone, and then we are moving on to something else. I already know what, but I'm not telling you. See you later. Remember to like and subscribe. It helps my channel grow.